Well, you know, Chet, he's no faker. Holmgren's got game. Second overall pick will make the Summer League debut today for the Oklahoma City Thunder. OKC will play 3 games at the Salt Lake City Summer League, starting with a matchup against Utah, then Memphis, and ending with Philly. Holmgren spent 1 season at Gonzaga, second team All-American with averages of 14.1 points, just under 10 boards, 3.7 blocks per game to beat consensus. 7-footer was the biggest enigma on draft night, given he's got the highest upside and bust potential, mainly due to that wiry frame. And at Caesars, he is tied for 3rd in terms of the shortest odds for Rookie of the Year. All right, let's get to a guy where his voice is working. That's going to be Tim Doyle, better than me there this morning there. Chet Holmgren expected to make his Summer League debut. Timmy, what are you looking out for from Chet today?
Yeah, I think the first thing you notice when he steps on the floor is, man, that guy is tall, really tall. And then after that, he really skinny, and that's okay. So what do we expect? He's probably going to get pushed around. He's probably going to miss a rebound he's supposed to grab. He's probably going to be trying to do too much because, you know, expectations are so high. But when I see his body, let's go in a time machine a little bit, because we all see Giannis now as the Greek freak. How about when Giannis first got drafted? Hello, look at those spaghetti arms, okay? Like, yes, the definition was there a little bit more than Chet, but the build wasn't there. And it's simple. Oh, gee, you know that didn't go in, because that still doesn't go in these days, okay? But now he's morphed himself into the best player on the planet on both sides of the basketball. So what has Giannis done? He's matured, he's put in the work, and I expect Chet Holmgren to do the exact same thing. That's why if I was the Orlando Magic, the number one, Tommy, they dropped the ball. This could be the next Giannis. They dropped the ball and they took Paolo. Oh, I think this is a big mistake, but this is a bet that we cannot pay off for what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, it could end up being one of the big what-ifs, of course, looking back to this draft, the guys that were selected. And by the way, after the Salt Lake trifecta, Chet will then move to Vegas and that circuit for 4 scheduled games in Sin City starting this weekend. You know, it's interesting, when you go on Twitter, there's going to be guys like Keegan Murray who have like monster games and people go, wow, and they put up the numbers. And let's talk about legal flashbacks to last Saturday and the Kings' top pick for him. Summer League debut, 28 minutes, 26 points, 8 boards, 10 of 14 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. How impressive is that, and how much can we really take from something like this, Tim?
I'm really impressed. This is a kid who 2 years ago when he was on Iowa was essentially coming off the bench, and he was playing with the National Player of the Year, Luka Garza. And Tommy, he has just thrusted into the spotlight, had an outstanding year at Iowa. And then I always felt like he was going to be a better player with even better players around him. And this kind of is moot to my point, because in Summer League, guys are trying to do their thing, right? They're trying to be seen, and he's going out there having an outstanding performance. He has all the tools. His dad, Kenyon Murray, was an outstanding player at Iowa. They run the state of Iowa right now, and he's got a skill set that seems to keep getting better time and time again. When I see the highlights and when I watched him yesterday, I see a lot of Paul George. I don't know. It seems like a pretty good comparison, but really hard to play well in these events because everyone's trying to do their thing. Everybody's trying to get that bag. Everybody's trying to be seen. So who cares, win or lose? Like, not everybody's pulling in the same direction because a lot of guys are looking for themselves. He doesn't have that kind of attitude. His game doesn't really kind of exude that. So the fact that he was just kind of doing his thing and going off, very impressive start.
We've seen the good and the bad. He did struggle against the Heat, so we're already seeing sort of the ebbs and flows that we are going to see from a talented rookie in the association. All right, let's move on to a guy we all know, Kevin Durant. Trade rumors hitting a fever pitch. I haven't had a chance to ask you about what you think about him, his wish list, and his reasoning for wanting to leave Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a wish list, I would want to go play with a superstar who's a team guy. Well, there's only one player in the history of the NBA who's averaged 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in the playoffs. He's in Dallas. Go play with Luka, Kevin. How about that pick and roll, huh? Who do you guard there? Do you go 2 guys at Luka? Oh, no. How about Kevin Durant? And you're in a pretty good city. I've had a good time. Nick and Sam's, 2 martini limit, little blue cheese olives. You always got to get an odd number of olives. It's bad luck to have an even number. But those two guys playing well together, it also alleviates the pressure from Kevin because he can now be kind of a second guy or a 1A or 1B, however you want to do it. It just seems like Luka is such an amazing team guy, and Luka needs this type of scoring where on the wing now he could spot up, he could play off the ball. I just think this would be a great fit. He goes to an organization that's obviously trending in the right direction, and this is what puts Dallas over the hump. What do you think? If the Mavericks sign Kevin Durant, I think they immediately become the favorite. Do you disagree?
I think I do disagree slightly as we're taking a look at the odds to win the NBA championship, Tim. But I do want to give enough time here to talk about a legend that knew everything about odds. That was Hammer and Hank Goldberg. I was actually able to secure some video that you did a segment with him at the Belmont last year. I know you got the Hammer out as well. I want to give you some time here to reflect and give us some thoughts on Hank.
You know, Hank was an idol of mine ever since I was a little boy growing up, watching him, throughout TV. And, gambling has been something that has always been kind of kept the forefront. Shh, don't talk about it. And I remember when I started in television, it was something that I knew well and I grew up with. And, Hank was doing this 40, 50 years ago. So he was a household name in my house. He had an amazing career. The fact that he's touched so many lives, famous people, regular people. He could go to the racetrack and have a conversation with anybody. And it's someone that I look up to. In 82 years, an amazing run, and still working, Tommy, almost to his very last day. So I certainly stole his bit with the Hammer. It's an ode to you, and I will continue to use it, Hank, forever. Love you, buddy.
Quick follow-up to that, because you guys both love the ponies and the horses. How was that dynamic? Because that's in sports gambling, guys are versatile, but you guys are, for lack of a better term, a special breed. Because I don't even, I love gambling, and I'm not a big horse racing guy, but you guys were.
Yeah, the ponies are definitely almost like a cult following, right? It's like Hank and I were doing some gambling segments, and I'm not sure, I brought the Hammer out. He was like, I'm kind of the Hammer. There was some friction. We exchanged phone numbers, and then we were texting about Pompano Park pick threes we had going, or get once you're a ponies guy. Mick Cronin and I had a similar experience. The UCLA coach, they're like, well, Mick's kind of mean. All we did was talk ponies. We've been friends to this day. It is like a cult following. Hank's an amazing. The fact that he knew Jimmy the Greek from the CBS days. These are the Mount Rushmore of gambling guys in my profession that I look at. I'm like, man, they were really pioneers, because it was always hush hush. Even though people have been gambling since the beginning of time, George Washington even gambled. It was, shh, don't talk about it. And I think we're just starting kind of what Hank started 40 years ago with the games. Because how many games do we watch where it's a 12-point game and we're like, oh, this game's over. But if the spread's 13, Hank's up there. He's going to have action on it right now. So I love the fact that he made it mainstream, and I just hope to carry that torch for years to come.
Well said. Tim Doyle joining us here in CBS Sports HQ. Appreciate it, my man. And let's get you wrapped up, of course, back to what we started here with the Summer League action and, of course, the slate happening here. We do have, as you take a look at some of the games being played, predominantly in Salt Lake City and, of course, out in the Bay Area. There is an injury update with LiAngelo Ball, the Hornets, saying that he has entered health and safety protocols. They announcing that last night.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.